In this video, I run GLM 5.2 through an agentic harness using the OpenCode desktop app to create a full AEO audit of a prospect's website. The harness also writes a cover letter and executive summary to send as a lead magnet to the prospect to demonstrate the effectiveness of a long horizon autonomous agentic harness that you can use for your day-to-day. And so in this video, we're going to run through it. I'm going to show you how it works step by step and how to get started building your own without having to spend any money. This is important because a lot of geopolitical things are happening with AI and we might not have access to frontier models forever. Not to mention, you'll save money running your harnesses through open source models because when your harness is good enough, you don't even need frontier models. And that's the thing no one's talking about. So let's get started. First, I'm going to show you the results of a lead getter harness I just ran. Then we're going to run the full AEO audit harness. We're going to build our own harness, and then we're going to take the results of the AEO audit and shoot it off to the prospect. What you're looking at right now is a list of creators that offer cohorts. And this is essentially a lead list for someone that wants to pitch AI services. Now, I don't know if these people are actually using AI or not. It's hard to tell from public-facing information. But why I'm showing you this is because I just ran this lead getter harness with GLM 5.2 on OpenCode, and it successfully worked for about 45 minutes alone without me. It asked me these 5 questions: my Apify API token, what location, what service do I want to pitch them, should I scrape LinkedIn, and how much do you want to spend? And so then, as we see here, it used a bunch of different scrapers on Apify. Apify is a really cool service, by the way. There's these actors to scrape the internet, basically. And it spent about $1.50, I want to say, like 65 cents, 40 cents. So it spent about $2.50. The tokens were even less. OpenCode is saying it only spent $1.25, but I do think it was more than that because of all the sub-agents that are spawned in this harness. So it actually looks more like it spent $2.70. So anyway, this rig essentially just scraped and processed 15 leads for under $5, and it ran autonomously with an open source model, with an open source framework for almost an hour, 45 minutes. I think this is really important because we see now that the US government wants to ID everyone that wants to use GPT 5.5 and any new frontier model. Fable 5 was pulled, and this is just a really crucial time in the world where you have to be sovereign over your AI usage or else you're going to get fucked. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's really important that we know how to use these tools in an open source way. So in this video, I'm starting a new session, and with GLM 5.2, we are going to run a rig together, or a harness. In the AI Captains Academy, I call them rigs, but they're really just simplified agentic harnesses to just do a bunch of different things depending on what you're trying to accomplish. And they're mainly made for solopreneurs, creators, but you could really use this for anything. I think research is kind of outdone. What can we do? Let's do an AEO audit, okay? So I'll find the rig on GitHub, I'll copy the URL, and basically what this harness does is runs an AEO audit. And the idea is you can run this and you could send a basic audit to a prospect and go like, hey, here's a basic audit, it's yours for free. But if you want, I'll do a thorough audit and you can pay me whatever amount. And what it does is it runs 11 different agents. So it runs a web crawler to analyze the HTML. Then it calls all these APIs to see what's going on in these real metrics of the page. Then it analyzes competitors. It does the AEO analysis. It does an SEO strategy, and then it writes a report. And this report writer actually goes 5 times to write everything out. So it writes all these different reports. Then it designs the report, builds the report, designs the review, writes a cover letter, and then reviews everything to make sure it's good. And then it gives it right back to you. So we're going to run that here. And even if you don't care about AEO audits, the purpose of this video is for you to understand how long horizon autonomous agentic harnesses work and how you can get started. So here we are. I'm pasting in this URL. Let's run this AEO audit. And that's literally all I'm going to say, because watch what happens. It is going to take it from there. It's going to ask me all the questions of what I want. And that is part of the harness. So what's going to happen is it's exploring the structure and it's going to clone it and it's going to put it into a folder on the computer that then it's going to read from to do all the things that it's supposed to do. This is like local AI software, and you can make a harness for anything. You no longer need to pay for a subscription as a service. You could literally just build it yourself. And this is what they're not telling you, but I'm going to tell you. What's the target business website URL to audit? All right, this is where we need to find something to audit. Why don't we take one of these people's? goodauthorityblog.co. Let's see. Get legal in a weekend. Oh man, these line spacing is killing me. Oh, Valerie Del Grosso. Please. Well, there's quite a few things that they could fix on this website, so maybe they're going to be a good lead. All right. The last thing is let's just make sure they still post. Like, when was this posted? April 7th, 2026. Okay. Not too long ago. So it's okay. So let's paste that in here. Goodauthorityblog.co. Light or full mode. Okay. So these are two options that this particular harness offers us. Do we want to do the quick one with a cold email, which will take a lot less time and a lot less tokens, and then we can just send it to them and see if they're interested? Or do we want to run the full-on report? The full-on report is going to take longer, but it's something we can essentially sell at the end. Okay. So just to make this more impressive for you, the viewer, let's do full mode. Do you have competitor URLs or should I auto-find them? Auto-find the competitors. What is the target location for this business? Online. They're an online business. Okay, so if we were to run through this, we've downloaded the file, we've opened the directory, the agent just did that for us, and we're setting it up right now. And it's creating a profile for this prospect. Let's run the setup wizard. Now, this is another cool part of the audit. So if, for example, you want to sell AEO services, it is going to create a profile for you so you don't have to do this again. And it'll format all of the assets for your business. So let's just say we're AI captains. My name, we're going to say Jordan Herbs. My website URL, cpsaicaptains.ai. Contact email. Target industry for this audit. Blog, content creator. Yes. Pricing. All right. How much are we going to charge this prospect? The regular audit, $500. The audit plus implementation, $2,000 monthly. Yeah, sure. Let's just go with that. Brand colors. Use AI Captain's default. Blue, amber, and green. I don't think those are our defaults, but that's fine for now. Do you have Google PageSpeed API key? Yes. So now I got to get a Google PageSpeed API key. This is free. Get a key, show key, copy that, and paste it in. Preferences, accept the defaults. Auto-discover competitors, yes. Include local SEO, yes. Report length, standard 25 to 35 pages. Yes, but we don't need local SEO. Okay. So that's the setup. It made our profile. We don't have to do this again if we don't want to. So every time we run an AEO audit, this rig, it's going to ask you those 4 questions, but the setup you only need to do once. So now it's going to create my profile in the output directory structure and then start the audit pipeline. This is an open source model. I'm running it with the Venice API, GLM 5.2. It's $4.40 per million tokens output, and it's private. Not that it really matters for this project, but there's no data storage of my conversations. And if you want to compare that to Opus, it's a bit more expensive with Venice. It's normally $25 via Anthropic. So it's literally a fifth of the price as using Opus. And if we look at Sonnet, it is a fourth of the price. So assuming we get good results here, which I'm going to make the case that we do get good results, this is going to be a fifth of the price that if you were to do this whole thing with Opus, or a fourth of the price if you use Sonnet or GPT-5 or whatever. These open source models are extremely intelligent now and extremely agentic. So now, thanks to the harness, which is the most important part of this, it knows what it's got to do. Notice how I didn't say anything. I just said, here is the GitHub repo. Let's run it, baby. It's cloning it. And then it just explores the structure, checks it out. And then it learned, I'll show you. It learned how it works. All that's in here is the Claude MD, which says, hey, you are the multi-agent rig that generates AEO and SEO audit reports for businesses. There's 2 modes. Quick start. Here's the commands. Here are your agents for your team. Here's how you're going to do things. Phase 2 through phase 6. Context engineering. Critical. Read this. Make sure you read this. Rules for the orchestrator. Never read skill files yourself. Skills are for the agents. We'll get to the agents in a second. So it has all these rules for as it goes through these phases, what to do. Then here's how to spawn the agents. This is laying out the step-by-step instructions for the open source model. Now, GLM 5.2 is a beast. It is smart, but sometimes the open source models just don't do as good of a job as the Opus, the GPT 5.5s, whatever of the world. And you need to be very explicit with how to do things. And that is what the harness does, is it shows every step of the way so it doesn't fuck anything up. And then quality gate checklist at the end to make sure everything is good. And if it's not good, hey, go back and do this again. So that's ClaudeMD, the context file. Then you have the .claude folder. The .claude folder has our agents, commands, and skills. So if we start at the agents, we're going to see probably what's running soon, the AEO analyst agent. Here's what you do. First, you load this skill. The star skill contains the complete AEO assessment framework, scoring methodology, criteria definitions, and recommendation library. So if we're to jump in there, AEO optimization, there's the skill, and here's what it is. So this is the front matter. This is all that's loaded for the main agent, so it doesn't overload its context. And so now the sub agent will load all of this to know exactly what to do. Why AEO matters. So what that agent is going to do once it's called here, which it's not happening yet, it's going to have its instructions. So for example, it's crawling, the web crawler is what's running right now. So this was a sub agent. Research competitors. So let's go here. Competitor researcher. First step, read the local SEO skill. Then you're going to read the plan, which is provided for by the main agent that we started the conversation with. Then you're going to output what you do to competitoranalysis.md. That's going to be your output. This agent, its only job is to make this plan and give it back to the main agent to save context tokens for the main agent. The research process, identify competitors, analyze each competitor using web fetch, write the competitor analysis. Here are the rules. Here are the requirements for accuracy to make sure it's good. And here's the tools you have available. Boom. So that is what this agent is. Read your instructions here. Your task, should you choose to accept them. They have to accept them. Doesn't get an option. And then here we go. So first it went with the main site, right? And then it searched Google, legal searches for coaches, legal resources for coaches, blah, blah, blah. And it's finding competitor sites. And it found these ones, Celine the lawyer, Sam van der Wielen. And I have no association. I know nothing about any of the leads, any of the sites here. So I'm not trying to make a statement about anyone or your service here. I'm just trying to show you how these rigs work. So it found those competitors and the agent is making the plan here. So as you see here, sub-agent sessions cannot be prompted back to the main session. So here in the main session, that's what's happening. That main agent took the plan, gave it to the sub-agents. And so now this one, you are the API caller. Where's that one? API caller.md. You are the API caller for the AEO and SEO audit rig, blah, blah, blah. Read the SEO skill. So where's the SEO skill? There it is. Actually, I think it was the technical SEO skill. There's a lot of SEO skills. Everything you need to perform a comprehensive technical SEO audit of a website. Here are the API integration patterns. So you don't have to do trial and error. So you know exactly what to do. Call this endpoint in the API. Use the API key that I provided earlier. Remember that? Here's how the rate limits work. Blah, blah, blah. And here's what you do. Essentially, this is all most of the same things that Hrefs and SEMrush do. Not all of it, because they do more complicated things that require more time and volume and things like that. But this is a lot of what those services do for you. Now the AI is doing for us without us needing to pay those services. And I'm sure someone in the comments is going to be like, no, that's not what they do. But whatever, who cares? You either pay for it or you don't. You will get better results if you use SEMrush or Hrefs. And if you have an API for that, you could go in here before you even start. I'll just start a new session here, for example. And say we're doing this. Let's run this AEO audit, but I want you to use my SEMrush API key for SEO stuff so we get better results. And now, after it looks through everything, it'll be able to make the changes for you. Maybe it won't use whatever the hell it's using. It'll just do what you say, use the SEMrush or Hrefs API key. So this tries to make it free for you. All these APIs are free. Even in the lead getter one that I opened the video with, that uses Apify, which is not free. I mean, it was only $2. But you have to have a subscription, which costs money. So the idea is that by default, these rigs that we create at AI Captains, they don't need any money or subscriptions. Even you can get these free at the AI Captain School right now. It's a 7-day free trial. Literally, you can just go get them. And then you can just run this and experiment. And all you're paying for are the tokens, which if we look for right now, We're only at phase 2. We've only spent 40 cents. If we were using Opus times 5, we'd be at $2 right now. And we'll see by the end of it how much exactly this is costing. I actually think it's using a little more because of the sub-agents. Here in the sub-agents, yeah, this was 43 cents. Research competitors, 62 cents, right? So this is just the main agent, what the cost is. But the point is, it's a fifth the cost with Opus, and you might have a Claude Code subscription, and you're like, well, why don't I just use my Claude Code subscription? It'll probably do a better job. Fine, use it. My point in sharing this video is that you might not have a Claude Code subscription forever. They might ask you for your left kidney or your ID or something you don't want to give. And when that happens, you want to be prepared so you still have the capabilities of AI at your fingertips. And it's because you know the foundation of AI agents, and you know how to build harnesses and rigs like this, which is also what we do in the AI Captains Academy. So not to make this a full sales pitch, but this is some really cool shit in here. And if you like working with AI agents and you want to know what Claude Cowork is doing in the background, this is where you can put the pieces together and start executing it, and join us in our weekly calls. We do 2 calls a week. So there's my call to action. I'm done with it now. You know where to look. And now I'm just going to let this run. I'll check in every now and then to maybe explain something that I need to. But you can see we started this session at 3:26 p.m. Right now it is 3:44 p.m. So it's been running for maybe like 15 minutes because I had to ask those questions to me. And we'll just check back in and we'll analyze the results when it's done. Okay, so we're getting into phase 4. It's still going. Session created 3:26. We're now at about 35 minutes. And while that's going, I just thought it would be a good time to show you how to actually build your own. What I like to do, kind of just like what we did here, paste an example and then say, I want to do this instead. So I showed you the AI Captains rigs. If you are like a developer engineer, you're going to want something more like the Safe Agentic Workflow Harness by Scott Graham, Cheddar Fox, friend of the AI Captains. And he's who introduced me to all this stuff, and it blew my mind. And now this is like enterprise grade stuff, okay, which I am not an enterprise person. But this is a standard 11 agent team for like full on development. And that's what this does. And inside it has everything. It has hooks. A lot of the AI Captains rigs don't have hooks, but basically you're going to have all the agents, commands, skills, and it's essentially a template. So even here you can see you can use this template, and there's actually some other ones inside of his GitHub repo, which is what got me started, and that is the StorySystems template. And this is a harness for writing screenplays, novels, and film production. So what's cool about this is, like, you know, if you tried to write a whole screenplay or a novel in a ChatGPT window, you get fine results. But what's missing is structure, specialization, teamwork, and standards. And not to mention, it's probably not going to have enough of memory, of context to do a good job. So in this case, you have an 11-person AI team to do all the stuff to make sure it's good. Make sure the continuity is good. Make sure that there are plot points. Make sure that there's character arcs, etc. So this is an example of a harness. So for example, if I were to just copy this URL and say, put that at the bottom, using this template, let's create a harness in the same structure that instead of writing screenplays and novels does, I mean, literally you can do anything here. So I don't even have an idea. It does research on a subject and then writes a college level thesis on the subject, 5 to 10 pages, and then finds similar academic publications to send the thesis to. Honestly, this is not a very creative idea. I'm sure you have ideas for what you do in your life, but let's just send that in. Once again, GLM 5.2. Though what I always say is build with the frontier models. So find Opus, for example, or Sonnet and build with those. So you get like a really, really, really top quality harness, and then execute with something like GLM 5.2. But as I'm about to show you, we can build it with GLM 5.2 as well. It is a beast and it'll save us money. And if we don't have access to one of those models, then hey, at least we know we can build it with GLM 5.2. Oh, our other conversation needs permission. This is the OpenCode desktop app, by the way. I've been pretty into it. It was introduced to me in the Venice Discord, and it's just a fresh change of pace from the terminal user interface for OpenCode. It obviously has its limitations because it's not in the terminal, but in general, it's been pretty nice for me. I wish I could see the files, for example. I don't know about this Git repository thing. I mean, what happens here if I make that? We got a cool sound. All right. These are files, but we can't actually open them or see them. Yeah. So I'm still getting to know OpenCode. Uh-oh, got interrupted. Maybe because I made a Git repository. So I have to press continue, unfortunately. It got interrupted from a user error, okay, and now it didn't write the HTML file, so here it's going to go. It wrote the follow-up emails. All right, so that's going to keep going. All right, we'll come back to this when it's completely finished, and now we'll just focus on our academic research thing right now. Access files outside the project directory. Yeah, so it cloned it, and now it's looking at the agents that were already inside the StorySystems template. All right, and now it's just doing it. I probably should have gone into plan mode, but whatever. I guess you understand the point here. Is that's all you do to start one. You give it a template and you say, okay, let's follow this template and build our own for whatever you want to do. Write template files, write docs, and now it's just going to go. So now we have two things happening in tandem. The bummer is this is going to mess up our budgeting to see how much money we were spending here. Woo-wee. Where now we've spent like almost $5 here compared to earlier. And yeah, essentially the only thing you're going to have to give it is permissions. I imagine there's some way here to auto accept permissions. Yeah, right there. That's dangerous, you know, if you want to do that. This thing has access to your computer, so I don't auto accept. Not yet, anyway. So yeah, there we go. And we'll come back when these things are done. All right, our college thesis writer harness is almost done. I wish I had this when I was in college, and it's initializing a Git repository. So we could put this on GitHub. Why not? And this used 131,000 tokens, which is quite a bit. It made 8 skill files, commands, agents, templates. So 73 files mirroring the StorySystems template structure, adapted for academic research. So the story architect was turned into the thesis architect, the dialogue writer into the academic writer. You get it. And now we have it. And we'll say push this to GitHub, my account, using the CLI as the thesis writer rig. And now that is going to be on GitHub, and we'll put a link below. It'll also be in the AI Captain's Academy. All right. So yeah, $1.44. That's probably accurate now that I look at it all. And here it is, the thesis writer rig here on GitHub. Hilarious. So if you're in college and you're writing thesis, here you go. My gift to you. So there you go. Let's say clone this into the AI Captain's Academy. All right. So we're done with that. That's how you create your own. Easy. Now let's come back to the AEO audit. It froze, so I had to say continue like twice. Or maybe it didn't freeze, it was just running a long time. But it said it was creating the 2 HTML deliverables, and I thought it froze, but apparently it did do it. And then the design reviewer found issues. So if we come back to the AEO audit into the CloudMD, we see that the design reviewer is phase 5.7, design review, spawn the design reviewer if it needs fixes, respawn the report builder, which is phase 5, with the feedback, and do it again. Actually, if there's anything you take out of this video, understand that this is a multi-agent team, so it's as if you're in a team of humans with different minds looking at the project. Instead of just one AI going through it blindly, assuming it's doing a good job, no. Instead, you have all these different agents going through it with their task and with only the context they need. So this design reviewer says, hey, read the design brief, read the member profile, read the HTML deliverables, and then tell us if they're good or not. And if it's not good, explain what the issues are and how to fix it. Here's the checklist, color palette, typography, layout. This is the difference between slop and actual quality from your AI team. And this is why you need all these different agents and skills and commands, because now here it found critical score color issues. So if we go up to the top, you are the report builder. It went back to phase 5. Your task is fix these issues. Okay. These are the files to fix, and the colors were wrong. 5 out of 10 scores used the wrong color. Okay. And not yellow. They should use orange. Now, very well, this could be because it's GLM 5.2. If we were using Opus, it probably would have remembered, right? But that's why we have review agents. So now the harness, the agent, doesn't matter what model it is. It has these other agents proofing it, making sure what it did is good and it follows the rules. So now it fixed all the colors, it fixed the file, and then it sent it back, and now here we are back. Then the phase 6, the quality gate review. So the quality gate agent said, hey, review all the output files for quality and accuracy, make sure it's all there, verify the scores, score consistency check, audit framework, overall 47 out of 100. So yeah, I mean, I guess it got passing grades here, but it didn't do incredible. And we could always just say, okay, next time when you run it, it needs to be at least 6 out of 10, for example. Like, don't let it be that low. I'm actually kind of wondering, why was 40 out of 100 good enough? Tell me why 47 out of 100 passed the quality gate. I mean, come on. Oh, okay. 47 out of 100 is the prospect's website itself. If the report said 90 out of 100, Valerie would think, sounds good. No need to hire anyone. 47 is bad for her. It's great for you. Thank you, GLM 5.2. I am a moron. So it's done now. All right. So here we are. And we got the report, deliverables report. Okay. So here, AI Captain's AEO and SEO audit report, 47 out of 100. I kind of need to fix that style there. And it's got the whole thing. And this is what I would do. I would print, and then save it as a PDF and then send this PDF and go, hey, here's a very thorough audit on your website, Valerie Del Grosso. In fact, let's just do this, okay? Here's what we're going to do. Oh my gosh. All right. Support at goodauthority.co. We saved the PDF. That's why the executive summary didn't work. Actually, it looks great when it's a PDF. All right. So I saved the PDF. Now here's our executive summary. This could be what we really want to send, right? Your AEO score is C. When coaches ask ChatGPT, what contracts do I need for my coaching business? Your site does not appear. The good news is your blog content is excellent. So maybe this is what we would want to send them. It doesn't take much to see that this site is a freaking disaster. But, I support entrepreneurs trying to do their thing. So the next thing we look at is the cover letter in the sales directory, sales/cover letter. Okay. And I'll put this into Obsidian. All right. So this is subject line options, how ChatGPT sees good authority and why it's not good. I ran good authority code through an AI search readiness audit. All right. So there's the cover letter. So support at goodauthority.co. Paste that there. I'm only going to attach the executive summary. That's the lead magnet, okay? This is how you would generally want to do this. And now we're transitioning from how the harness works to actually executing. But ideally, I'm going to try to sell her the report, even though I kind of just want to give it to her. But if she responds, I'll probably just give it to her. But I'm going to send that, and I'll say, hi, Valerie. I ran good authority through an AI search readiness audit, and the headline finding jumped out. Your site has zero structured data. So it learned everything about their business, right? All right. Now, everybody hates cold emails, and I'm one of them. But you know what? We're making content here. Some more line breaks. Okay, and it's attached, and now we send it off. Done. Sent. So there you have it, folks. Oh, what time is it? How long did that take? 3:26. Right now it's 4:43. There was probably like 5 to 10 minutes of answering questions, and when I think it froze. So this took about an hour, and it worked fully autonomously for an hour. Not to mention, we got the thesis-writer rig here as well in the AI Academy GitHub. I'll add that to the school here soon. So we got all that done in an hour, and who knows, we might even get a client out of it. And if we just refresh our API usage here on Venice, 1194. So, and it was a 270 from the other thing. So like 9. So we'll say it was around $9 to do that whole audit report to send to the prospect that might pay, who knows, $500,000 for it. I don't know. And we built our thesis writer rig. So for like $9, okay, that would have cost upwards of $40 with Sonnet and Opus. So you do the math, and remember, OpenCode is open source. GLM 5.2 is open weight, and you can even get these rigs to get started for free in the AI Captain School. We host calls twice a week. Hope to see you there if you're into this kind of thing. Get sovereign of your technology. It's so important. The world is in such a crazy place right now, and we don't know what's coming next, and we want to keep our artificial intelligence available to us. So thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you like this kind of thing, and I'll see you later.